Next day she wrote, Laken, September 23rd, at 11:30 in the morning. My dear one, you always provide me with a charming awakening. At 9:30 today I received your kind letter of the 22nd. I saw with pleasure that you were leaving for Ostend. Accordingly, I may have news of you more rapidly. 1,000 pardons if I vexed you by saying that you were forgetting me in the midst of military operations. I realize, love, that I reproached you very unjustly. Nevertheless, I believe you could never think of me as much as I think of you, for my mind is occupied with you day and night. I'm wonderfully well. Yesterday I took a pretty drive in the environs of Laken. Today before dinner I shall receive the authorities and the ladies, and then shall go to the play. For dinner I have invited Madame d'Ursel, Madame d'Arenberg, Madame de la Tour du Pin, and the commandant of the Guard of Honor, who is the husband of Madame de Trazegny. I have also received Madame de Croix, who has arrived, and Madame de Mun, the wife of the Chamberlain, who was suggested to me by Madame de Montesquieu because she is the wife of the mayor. Please write and tell me if I am to receive Madame de Cornelison, who is the Chamberlain's wife, who has not yet made her curtsy. This evening I shall wear a rose-colored gown because I know you like it, and I love to please you from afar. Adieu, my love. I embrace you many times in thought and promise you to be so amiable to the Belgians that you will have reason to be pleased with me. Your tender and faithful friend and wife, Louise. She herself describes her journey on the 23rd. Château de Laken, September 24th at 10 in the morning. My dear one, how happy I am to see you by your charming letter of this morning, that you are so near me. I now desire nothing more fervently than to receive the dispatch in which you tell me to rejoin you. I shall then make great haste. I am much more at ease now that I know you are well. Do not be uneasy, my dear. The dust has not done me the slightest harm, and I did not get catarrh. Now all danger from the dust is over, for rain has fallen in torrents all the afternoon. Yesterday very few ladies came to my reception. Most of them are in the country or laid up, but those who came to be presented to me had good manners and were well dressed. Yesterday I went to the play where they gave Felix and La Melomanie. I've never seen a worse performance. They sang out of tune and acted very badly, but tomorrow Talma is to play at Andromaque. In the evening I shall have a concert and card games. The misery among manufacturers is excessive, and they have been obliged to discharge 2/3 of their workmen. They are doing no business at all. The prefect told me of this in such a manner that I could not help promising to make many purchases. I hope you will be so good as to pay for them, for traveling is ruinous to one's clothes and one's finances. They told me that before I arrived, the workwomen prayed to God for 3 days, and I would relieve their misery, for otherwise they would have no bread this winter. Among other articles they have made, 2 coverlets were brought to me, but they're too expensive. I sent them word that these must be kept until I was brought to bed with my second son. And you know that I'm in no great haste for his arrival. Yesterday I received tidings of your son, who has arrived quite safely at St. Cloud with his accustomed gaiety. Adieu, dear love. I hope the weather will clear up again so as not to delay the moment when I shall have the pleasure of seeing you. I write from my bed in which I am resting because I know you are pleased when I do so. Your faithful and affectionate wife and friend, Marie-Louise. What impression did the Empress make upon the public who saw her at the play? She arrived punctually at 8 o'clock in very full dress, which consisted of a high diadem of jewels, sprays of the same, and a diamond necklace. The front of her pink satin gown was embroidered with diamonds, and on the left side with colored stones, imitating a shaded bouquet. When she made 3 curtsies on reaching the front of the box, the enthusiasm of the Belgians became delirious. Also, on another occasion, when she appeared at the play with a bouquet of tulips in her hand, There was a fight for the scattered petals. All went so well, as long as she was not obliged to speak, but she was less successful in the drawing room. Madame de la Tour de Pin, wife of the prefect de la Deal, wrote, "We were invited to Laeken every day to spend the evening and play lotto, which lasted for about a week and was very tiresome. The Empress was dull to a degree, and her demeanor never varied. Each day she made the same remark, asking me to feel her pulse. 'Do you think I'm feverish?' I invariably replied, 'Madame, I know nothing about it.' A few men came in to make a little conversation while we were taking tea, among others Maréchal Mortier and Mr. de Bern. It was the duty of the Duc d'Ursel, in his capacity of mayor, to suggest the morning's excursion. According to the weather, one day when visiting the museum, Marie-Louise appeared to notice a fine portrait of her illustrious grandmother, Maria Theresa. The Duc d'Ursel proposed that it should be placed in her drawing room at Laeken, but she replied, 'Oh, certainly not. The frame is too old.' On another occasion, he suggested as an interesting place to visit that part of the forest of Soigny that is known by the same name of the pilgrimage of the Archduchess Isabel, whose saintliness and goodness are cherished in the hearts of the people. She replied that she did not care for woods. Marie-Louise made the same impression on everyone. Madame de Merode emerged from her retreat to appear at the Empress's dinner. She was afraid of horses, to which she was not accustomed, and had had a bay horse dyed black to match one of her own. This, Madame de Merode remarked, the princess, who was very young at the time and had been brought up very quietly, like all the archduchesses, had very little self-possession and knowledge of the world. She appeared timid and embarrassed. At dinner, she sat on the right of the state chair, prepared for the emperor. Madame de Merode on the left. Would not that be enough to petrify a bourgeois dinner? Even more an imperial party? It was not only a question of these Belgian guests. There were other people there. New letter. Laeken, September 26th, 5:30 after dinner. My dear one, I have this instant return from Brussels, where I have been to see the cathedral church and the lace manufactories, and as an express messenger is setting out, I hasten to write to you to tell you I'm very well and constantly think of you. Princess Pauline arrived at Brussels in the morning of the day before yesterday. She did not inform me of her arrival. I sent very early yesterday morning to inquire after her, but received no reply. Finally, she announced her arrival and asked for news of you. I wrote to her this morning to ask for hers and to tell her what I knew of you. She replied she was too unwell to leave her bed, that she was so ill she could not come to see me, and was very badly lodged at the inn. I thought you would not object to my suggesting that she should come here to live with me. An hour later, I sent the chamberlain to her, who returned with the answer that she had left for Antwerp. I send you all these details because I was told that she declined to receive the persons of my suite and was angry with me. She refused to admit Prince Aldobrandini, and I fear that if she will see you before I do, she will say I have been impolite to her. So I prefer to tell you myself what I have done. I acted, moreover, on the advice of Madame de Montesquieu, and consulted him before inviting her to stay with me. He strongly endorsed my suggestion and is as astonished as I am at her conduct. Please forgive me for wearying you with these trifles, but being so afraid lest you should scold me or be displeased, I prefer to tell you the whole story. I hope you think of me sometimes. In spite of your numerous engagements, I embrace you many times, and I am going to dress, for I am dining an hour earlier on account of the fete. Your faithful and tender wife, Marie-Louise. This strange episode of Princess Pauline's journey to Brussels remained unknown to the gazetteers, and her journey to Antwerp alone was mentioned. There can, however, be no doubt about it. Marie-Louise wrote on the 26th, Laeken, September 26th at 9:30 in the morning. My dear one, yesterday I received your kind letter the 24th, which distressed me very much, because I see from it that you were tired and wet through. I beseech you, my love, to spare yourself a little more. You can hardly believe how much your mode of life disturbs me and torments me. Should I hear that you were ill and could not see you, I do not know what would happen to me. I am astonished you do not receive my letters regularly, for I write every day. Indeed, were I not afraid of wearying you, I should do so every hour. I'm wonderfully well. I shall go today to the fete. The town is preparing for me, which consists of a comedy and a ball. I'm having a gown adorned with diamonds, because I know you like me to be well dressed. I shall not dance. I hope you will not mind this. We are having very high winds, so I hope you will not remain with the fleet. I am frozen, for the doors and windows do not fit, and it rains in torrents. Yesterday I received news of your son, who is well, and is beginning to take suit. The Duke and Duchess de Bassano passed through yesterday on their way to Antwerp. I kept them to dinner. Write to me soon, my dear, that you are at Antwerp, and that I am to rejoin you. I'm longing for the moment when I can embrace you and to tell you in person how much I love you, your faithful and tender wife and friend, Marie-Louise. Next day she wrote, Laeken, September 27th at 3 in the afternoon. My dear one, your letter of the 25th fills me with joy, the more so as I did not receive one yesterday, which was the beginning to make me very uneasy. I pray that your health may always be as good. This is certainly not selfishness, for if I consulted my own feelings, I should want you to be so seasick that you would be obliged to return very quickly to Antwerp. I have a most lively desire to see you again. I'm very well and quite comfortable at Laeken, but not so well as when I'm near you. The fete was very fine yesterday, the company very well chosen, and the park splendidly illuminated. At the beginning they gave the little opera Maison à Vendre, which was so badly sung that my poor ears are still suffering. Thank you for having thought of me, and for sending money for my purse, so that I shall be able to give a larger sum to the poor. The lace workers are delighted with the orders you have given, and the prefect equally so, for he says they can find no one to purchase their laces. Today I shall have a concert and a reception. I will try to please the Belgians, but for me every day that I pass away from you causes me so much sorrow that, although I try to hide it, I'm sure it can be easily read in my face. Adieu, my dear one. I embrace you tenderly. Your faithful and tender wife, Marie-Louise. The total of the bill for the laces purchased for the use of Her Majesty at Brussels between September 23rd and 29 amounted to 134,662 francs and 59 centimes. In addition, the Empress expended 89,145 francs 59 centimes on lace for her wardrobe department, and according to an estimate signed by her on July 29th, 1812, she spent an amount equivalent to 45,519 francs in presents. The names upon the estimate are as follows: Madame de Montesquieu, governess to the children of France, 1 robe at 4,900. 2, Madame de Montebello, lady in waiting, 1 robe at 5,000. 4 superfine laces, 1720. 6 superfine Bruxelles laces. Wow, lots of stuff for the Duchess de Montebello. 2, Madame de Lucé, lady of the wardrobe, 1 robe, 3,000. 2, Madame de Mesgrigny, under governess, 1 veil, 1320. 2, the ladies in waiting, 1 cape and 8 ells needlepoint, 2150. 2 ladies in waiting, 1 veil, 3 capes, 5160. 2, a lady in waiting, 1 cape, 1442. Monsieur Boudier, physician, 1 pair of sleeve ruffles, 430. 2, Monsieur Valet, treasurer, 1 pair of sleeve ruffles. 2, the premiere femme, ells, Bruxelles, and Moline, 4191. 4, the journey, 6 ells, Dentel, Bruxelles, 528. The remainder for the journey. Accordingly, Madame de Montebello received 1/3 of the lace presented, and we may well believe her portion would be the most sumptuous. Chateau de Laeken, September 28th, 10:30. My dear one, I'm very happy today, for in addition to receiving your letters of the 26th and 27th, you give me the hope of seeing you again. I do not know what presentiment tells me that tomorrow will be the happy day. I await this moment with extraordinary impatience. I assure you, your absence has made me suffer greatly and has caused me much sorrow. I am delighted. I did not know beforehand that the sea was stormy on the 26th, for I should have imagined you in danger and have been very worried. I thank heaven that you have not suffered from the sea. It is evident that you are fortunate in everything. I cannot understand why you do not receive my news, for I write to you most regularly, once and sometimes twice a day. So you see, dear love, it's not my fault. I'm wonderfully well, notwithstanding the damp and the unfavorable time of year. Yesterday I held a reception and heard some very pretty music at the concert. The Queen of Naples has not yet arrived here, but she should come today. As you have left it to me to decide how I will receive her, I shall at once invite her to take up her abode at the Chateau de Laeken. I shall remain at home this evening with the people to whom I have given the entree to the chateau. I embrace you many times, and hope today to receive word from you where I am to meet you, your faithful and affectionate wife, Marie Louise.